Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Many times a player feels undervalued on the team he plays for, but other teams are interested in the player. This is the case with Jonathan Kuminga, who has had his ups and downs during the season and has yet to earn a starting spot. It is very likely that he will leave the Warriors after this season. The rival Los Angeles Lakers have already shown interest in the young player. Kuminga could play for the rival team next season. The Golden State Warriors will have one of the more interesting 2025 off-seasons. The organization's 22-year-old star forward may no longer be a part of the Warriors franchise entering the 2025-26 campaign. Jonathan Kuminga's spot needs to be addressed first, Bleacher Report's Dan Favale wrote last Thursday. Jimmy Butler's arrival complicates the former's future unless the duo turns out to be a viable fit together and alongside Draymond Green. It would not be a surprise if both Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors decide they're better off parting ways. Kuminga isn't the most versatile defender or reliable three-point shooting threat in the NBA. Still, considering the former lottery pick can regularly fill the correct lane in transition, elevate for explosive finishes at the rim, and pick his spots wisely in the half-court, it's safe to say Kuminga is on the right track. The 2022 NBA champion averages 16.3 points and 4.7 rebounds per game this season, shooting 45.4% from the field and 32.3% from downtown. On January 4, against the Memphis Grizzlies, Kuminga suffered a significant ankle sprain, which caused him to miss more than 15 contests with the Dubs. Although Kuminga worked his way back into Steve Kerr's rotation and returned to the hardwood in mid-May, the Warriors' decision to acquire Butler on February 5 could negatively affect his production with the franchise going forward. Kuminga will continue to have a bright future in the big leagues, regardless, but there's a good chance he'll spend the second leg of his NBA career with a different organization. Jonathan Kuminga picking up where he left off. After suffering an ankle sprain against the Memphis Grizzlies on January 4, Jonathan Kuminga finally returned to action against the Sacramento Kings on March 13. A lot has changed since Kuminga was last in everyday action. He previously shared the court with the since-traded Andrew Wiggins and Dennis Schroeder. Also, in early January, Tracy Jackson-Davis was still the Warriors' starting center, and standout rookie big man Quinton Post was starting in the G League for the Santa Cruz Warriors. Prior to the injury, Kuminga was playing the best basketball of his career. In December, Kuminga averaged 21.0 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 2.5 assists per game on 46/35/67 splits. During this stretch, Kuminga had back-to-back games where he scored a career-high 34 points off the bench versus the Suns and Clippers. In 38 games played this season, Kuminga's usage rate is 27.1%, second on the team behind Stephen Curry at 29.7%. Kuminga's adaptability will be necessary. Returning to a team with different personnel, Kuminga's role has also changed. Earlier this month Steve Kerr said they will play through Curry and newly acquired Jimmy Butler. This will transition Kuminga to play a more off-ball role offensively and inherently reduce his high usage rate. Butler's usage rate with the Warriors so far is 24.2%. Kuminga can truly be an X-factor for the Warriors if he is willing to buy in and play a lesser role. The frustrating issue with Kuminga throughout his Golden State tenure has been that he tries to do too much with the ball in his hands. Kuminga's tendency to overdribble and attempt low-percentage shots causes issues that differ from Steve Kerr's ball and player movement philosophy. Now, with a legit second option in Butler, the Warriors expect Kuminga to contribute in other facets of the game, such as defending, rebounding, and playing with high energy. How Kuminga can impact winning. Standing at 6'7" with a very strong frame, Kuminga is a versatile defensive player capable of guarding 1 to 4. He can be a chess piece for Jerry Stackhouse's defense, as he is capable of guarding the point of attack, wing players, and occasionally bigs. Kuminga's versatility, size, and lateral quickness allow him to guard many different positions, which can be a weapon for Golden State in meaningful games. Another aspect of Kuminga's game that will be highlighted in his new role of playing more off the ball is his unique athleticism. There are not many NBA players more athletic than Kuminga. From an offensive standpoint, Kuminga can be effective in this role as he is a strong off-ball cutter and roller in pick-and-roll situations. Below is a shot chart of Kuminga's conversion percentage of baskets during the 2024 to 2025 NBA season thus far. In his first game back from injury, Kuminga had a very strong game, predicated on his athleticism, to score around the rim. In 20 minutes of action, Kuminga scored 18 points on 7 of 10 shooting from the field. 9 of Kuminga's 10 shot attempts all came from within the interior, which is where he excels tremendously. If Kuminga can continue finishing around the basket at a high level while consistently getting to the free throw line, this Warriors team can reach new heights. Golden State Warriors' hidden strength revealed amid playoff push. The Golden State Warriors have lost only 3 games since adding Jimmy Butler at the trade deadline, and the biggest question, how he would fit with Jonathan Kuminga, appears to have been answered. The Warriors are 4-2 with both forwards in the lineup. Kuminga is yet to start, but he is averaging 13.8 points per game after missing 2 months with an ankle injury, and he is playing to his strengths. NBA fans might assume that the Warriors are finding their success via Stephen Curry's inhuman ability to hit shots from deep, but the reality is the Warriors are simply taking advantage of the rules. A team that relied on Curry and his jumper for the first few months of the schedule now has more physical ways to score, because few squads are getting to the free throw line like Golden State is today, revealed The Athletic's Fred Katz. The return of Kuminga, who missed 2 months with an ankle injury, will only strengthen a once-again high-powered offense. Butler doesn't just give the Warriors an extra primary facilitator, someone who allows Curry to scamper around more off-ball screens than he could in the early part of the season when he had to create more with the basketball. He also provides a necessary downhill threat. Prior to the Butler trade, the Warriors were 27th in fouls drawn per possession. They now rank 4th in that category, and with Kuminga back in the lineup and Draymond Green back to playing impassioned, aggressive basketball, the Warriors are expected to make a living at the free throw line. The Warriors, effectively, are finding free points. Green, Looney, Butler, and even Kevin Looney are excellent at drawing and finishing through contact, and the Warriors don't mind winning games at the charity stripe. Kerr's post-game comments only worsens Warriors' Jonathan Kuminga problem. JK was benched in the 4th. After a strong return and a dominant victory over the Sacramento Kings last Thursday, it's been more of a struggle since for Jonathan Kuminga following his 31-game absence with a severe ankle sprain. It was always going to take some time for Kuminga to find full fitness and rhythm, particularly when he's having to reintegrate to a far different team to the one he left when he suffered the injury on January 4th. Steve Kerr is having to make tough decisions on the Warriors' rotation. The problem for the Warriors is that they cannot afford to give Kuminga the time and leeway required to work through mistakes and return to his best. They're in a fight to secure a top 6 spot in the Western Conference standings, and could now officially fall to 7th if the LA Clippers beat the Oklahoma City Thunder on Sunday. It's that aspect that undoubtedly went into Steve Kerr's mindset against the Atlanta Hawks on Saturday, with the head coaching sensationally benching Kuminga for the entire 4th quarter of the 124-115 loss. Kuminga had made an impact in the first half with a team-high 16 points, but was otherwise a game-worst -18 in his 22 minutes as Kerr explained his decision-making during the post-game press conference. JK did a good job in the first half, and then in the second half I just went with the guys who I felt gave us the best chance, Kerr said. In a game where they were without the offensive firepower of Stephen Curry, you would think Golden State could have done with Kuminga scoring late in the game. The former 7th overall pick averages the 3rd most points on the team behind Curry and Jimmy Butler, yet there was no room for him on the floor as Kerr went predominantly to a lineup of Brandon Podziemski, Gary Payton II, Moses Moody, Butler and Draymond Green. The fact Kuminga couldn't earn a single second of 4th quarter playing time is a pretty damning assessment of where he's at individually in comparison to the team. This was always going to be the concern upon his return, and now he and the Warriors only have 11 games left to figure it out before an expected playoff run. All of this comes ahead of Kuminga's restricted free agency in the offseason. The more we have games like this where he isn't in closing lineups or playing fourth quarter minutes at all, the more everyone will be wondering how on earth the Warriors could consider paying him in excess of $100+ million during the summer. Warriors have a concerning trend that needs to disappear quickly. This could make the final stretch of the season very difficult. The Golden State Warriors sustained a brutal 124-115 loss to the Atlanta Hawks on Saturday night, with the team's defensive intensity seemingly non-existent from the opening tip, which contributed heavily to the negative outcome of the night. As the Warriors sit in the 6th seed in the Western Conference and chase a bona fide playoff berth, such a loss allowed the Minnesota Timberwolves and Los Angeles Clippers to gain a step in the race. While this loss was a highly significant defeat, it is more than just an occasional mishap for a team that has been one of the NBA's hottest over recent weeks. It is a sign of a concerning trend that could hinder Golden State's ability to advance in the standings through the final stretch of the regular season. Warriors need to play more intensely against inferior opponents. Since their acquisition of Jimmy Butler, the Warriors have been the best team in the NBA. They've gone 16-4 in their last 20 games, dominating many of their opponents to rise up the standings and even start garnering championship discussion. However, during this span, Golden State's losses have come to the Dallas Mavericks, Philadelphia 76ers, a depleted Denver Nuggets without Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, and now the Hawks. While Steph Curry's pelvic contusion suffered against the Toronto Raptors hurts the team as a whole offensively, the team is usually able to depend on its defense when needed. Golden State has a 109 defensive rating on the season, the third best mark in the NBA. This is intuitively not a defense that should be allowing 69 first-half points to the league's 20th best offense, with the Hawks eventually shooting in excess of 57% from the field and 42% from three-point range for the game. The Warriors have, in a sense, played down to their competition as of late. Against both the Brooklyn Nets and the Orlando Magic, they allowed the opposing team to get a hot start and needed to mount a sizable comeback in order to come away with the win. Against the shorthanded Nuggets, Golden State allowed Russell Westbrook and Aaron Gordon to walk all over them offensively, leading to a brutal 114-105 loss. At the same time, the Warriors have also showcased why they have one of the league's best defenses when clicking. They strangled Giannis Antetokounmpo, Damian Lillard, and the Milwaukee Bucks on a night where Curry was resting, and have twice done similar to a New York Knicks team that holds a top 5 offense. With veterans such as Butler and Draymond Green, Golden State certainly does not have a leadership problem, but it is possible that their younger players have not yet mastered the grueling course of an NBA schedule and are not bringing the requisite intensity to every game they play. As the season winds down, this will become all the more important. In their last 11 games, the Warriors play 7 teams that are not currently in playoff position, including the bottom feeder San Antonio Spurs and New Orleans Pelicans. With the Timberwolves and Clippers riding their tail for the 6th seed, Golden State will need to win every game they can and will need to ensure they are bringing their best defense every night.